Let's demonstrate how we create a project quotation. During this demonstration, we'll create a project quotation. So the first thing we'll do is we'll go out and we'll just create a quote, and we'll take a look at how you do that and where you do it from, etc. Then we'll jump into that quote and we'll define the work breakdown structure, and I'll show you how you can transfer the estimates from the WBS to the quote. And if the WBS is something that you're not looking to utilize within Dynamics AX, we'll also take a look at how you manually add some lines. Okay, so we're going to go through and create a project quotation, and to do so, you're just going to be up on the navigation pane, and then under the Project Management Accounting module, there is a quotation folder. And basically within this quotation folder, you have 4 different options: project quotes, which is all your quotes, any project quotes that is assigned to you, any quote that's expiring, and then all expiring quotes that are assigned to you as well. So those are your 4 menu items that you can select from. For our purposes, we're just going to select the project quotation menu item, and it's going to bring us to a list page that shows us all the different project quotes in the system. And from here, I mean, you have your action menu up top, which is basically going to be the same if we go into the details of one of these different quotes. And the key fields to point out are probably the quotation number that gets assigned based on a number sequence that's set up in the sales and marketing module, and the status here. You can see the different statuses of your quote, and just notice as well that all of them have a project ID associated with them other than the ones that are in a created state. I'm not going to talk to the list page that much. I'll let you check that out, but what I want to get into is actually creating a project quote. So to do so, you'll go to the action menu and hit the new button. And then from here, basically what you're going to see is the pane on the right side of the screen open up, and the first thing that you'll define is whether you want to create this quote for a customer or a prospect. So note that a customer, if we go to the General tab, if you select customer, basically you have the option of hooking it up directly to an existing project if you'd like. If you have a prospect, they're not a customer in the system, and for external work, external projects, you have to have a customer associated with it because you need a contract. So you can see that a prospect doesn't have the project ID assigned to it. So anyways, let's work with a prospect. We'll go ahead and grab downtown hotel for our example here. And then all the information from that contract's master data record is coming into this, where it can come into this, this pane that we're using here. I'm just going to assign a default warehouse, and the rest of the information's pretty standard. We'll get into, there's a template tab down here, and we'll get into that in a later course. Anyways, define your prospect, and any of this other information that you want to populate, you can populate as well. One key area to fill out too would be the expiration date. So we can say on 5/31 this quotation is going to expire. So you can hit OK to get into the details of the quote. And before we get there, we're getting a prompt asking if an opportunity should be created. In the sales and marketing module, there's CRM type functionality where you can create an opportunity. It's usually a precursor to a quote, but there's a parameter in the sales and marketing module where you can either have it automatically created prompt or don't even ask. And we have it set to prompt right now. So if we want to create an opportunity, we can create yes, and it would be linked to this quote. But other than that, I'm just going to select no for this example. All right, so we are looking at the project quotation here, and we got defaulted into the lines view, which is fine. You can see that there's a header tab that shows basically the estimated project start date and end date, and we can define that if we want. We'll just say it's going to start on 5/1, and it's going to, let's say 5/2. Hopefully that's a work date. Let me clear the dates. So this is the date functionality for our scheduling. So if you work with the work breakdown structure, you have to define what the calendar is. So basically, we have it set to standard, and that's going to define the days that you're open and closed and how many hours of capacity you have per day. So I'll go to, say we'll start on May 2nd, and then we're going to end on December 30th because that's a work day. All right, so hopefully, let's try 5/2 again and see if that will take it now. There we go. Okay, perfect. yeah, so you can define your project start date and end date for scheduling purposes. We have internal notes if you want to give me those. Those will never be seen by the customer. And then there's on the printouts, you can actually print stuff that the customer will see as well here. Now what you can do is manually define lines. So pretend this is pretty similar to a sales quote or a sales order. This is where you can just go in and add your different lines that you want to quote the customer for. So you can add fees, hours, expenses, and items. Notice these are project transaction types that you can define here. So if we're going to do report development for downtown hotel, we can define hours, and we can say ERP development is one of the categories that we're going to be providing services for, and we're going to do 100, well, let's say 500 hours worth of development, and you can see our rates pull in from our project pricing tables. So, and you also have the ability to define whether it's billable or not. So, yeah, bottom line, if you want to overwrite these unit prices, you can. There's also details, more granular details. If you go down the line details, you can take a look at, let's go to the price tab, the cost price that's associated with this. If you want to overwrite that value, you can. There's quite a few other different settings here, but we're not going to get into all those details right here. So anyways, you can add different lines for hours, expenses, and items. And I guess fees too if you want to do so. So we'll just add a couple just to show you what that's like. We'll say that we're going to have some flights associated with this, maybe 10 of them. And we're projecting $1,000 per flight, and we are going to bill. And then we could say that we're going to have some material that we're going to consume, and that material is actually not physical material. It's going to be subcontracted labor. So I'm going to change my category to subcontract, and we'll pick an item. I'll say it's installation service, sure, and 10. So that's the way that you can manually define your quote, and once you get that done, you can submit it, get it approved, and send the quote out. But if you don't want to, and this is if you have more advanced projects where you want to build out your whole work breakdown structure, you can do so before adding lines to your quote. So you could say you create your quote, and then step one is we go to, or step two is you go to the project quotation and you create the work breakdown structure. And I'm not going to manually create this. I'm just going to import one from a template. So I'll hit the import button and pick software development very light, which just has 3 tasks on it, I believe. There they are. So we have project management, development, quality assurance. So the first thing to note is that you can actually schedule directly from a project quotations work breakdown structure, just like you could if you're on a WBS inside a project. So we can define a role, and we'll say we need a project manager, and then you can come to the resource tab and you can launch the resource assignment form, and I'm going to go ahead and do so. And it brings us right in here, and then we can select the resource that we want to fulfill that role, and we'll soft assign them. The only option you have is to soft assign, and then when this, if this project gets confirmed, you can confirm the resource assignment, and it will turn into a hard if you want to. All right, so Bonnie is going to get assigned to this project from 5/1 to whatever the end date was there. So I'll close it out. There we go. So now we can see Bonnie is fully staffed for the PM role on this project. Okay, so that just shows that you can do all the different scheduling. What I'm interested in showing you here is the estimated costs and revenue tab. So when you add a new task, it automatically puts the labor associated with that task in and the quantity defined on the schedule planning tab. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a few things to quality assurance. I'm going to say that we have some items associated with it because we're going to outsource this work, and we're going to say that we're thinking that there's probably 300 hours total, but we're only going to take on 240 of those, and we're going to outsource the rest. And we outsource the rest at a cheaper rate. And there's some expenses as well associated with, oops, forgot to put the item on there. And I'll just pick SO2. And then we'll add another line for expenses. We have some travel expenses that we want to throw on. And we'll just say there's a quantity of 10 of those, and we project those at a $50 cost, and we bill out at 75. All right, so I just added some additional estimates towards my work breakdown structure.
So you can build this all out, you can schedule it all if you want to, and then once you're done with your work breakdown structure, the cool part about this is that you can bring it right into your project quote. So now we're at the project quote, and on the lines fast tab, there's the generate button, and you see there's the option to create quotation lines from the work breakdown structure. So I'm going to do that, and you can see it just brought in all those different estimates for labor, items, expenses. It assigned them to the appropriate activity number, which is awesome. Gave it the task name, and then the unit price. It's showing the net amount as well. And now basically your quotation is created and you're ready to get it submitted for approval. Finally, if you want to review some of the totals around this quote, there's on the project quotation tab, you can look at the totals button, and you can see that the subtotal amount is $192,000. We're expecting $116,000 worth of cost, and the margin is $76,000, which is awesome. If you want to get more granular, you can go to view the estimates as well, and it's going to show you the estimated costs at the transaction type level. It's going to show you the estimated revenue, estimated profit, and give you the margin percentage as well. All right, so the next step is basically submit, approve, and then confirm, and we're going to go into that in my next demonstration, so this is where I'll stop here.